why do we need this layered network model? Okay, we have this OSI 7-layer model, the TCP/IP model. Okay, the main reason is because in the 1970s, there's a huge demand for data communication. So there are more and more computers, and computers needs to communicate with each other. Okay, because of this demand, the company itself start to develop their own protocol to communicate with each other. Okay, so HP will have their own way of their own network with their own protocol. IBM will have their own network with their own protocol, and because the protocol are not standardized, so a PC in HP will never be able to talk to a PC in IBM. Okay, so if they develop their own protocol with their own rules, okay, it's similar to if you learn driving, right? Okay, now the common rules is if you see a red light and the red light, the light is showing red, you're supposed to stop. Okay, if on the red light, the light is showing green, you can go. So this is a common rule. Okay, but if you go to another country which develop its own rule, okay, and the rule say, if you see red light, you're supposed to go, and if you see green light, you're supposed to stop. Okay, imagine driving in that country which have a completely different rule compared to our own country. Okay, you will probably have accident almost every day because you are not used to that rules. Okay, so similarly for computer networking, before this TCP/IP model or the OSI 7 model was developed, each of their company have their own rules of sending data. Because their rules are different, data cannot be sent across. So in 1977, the ISO committee recognized the problem and they decided to create a committee to unify the networks. That means everyone had followed this common rule. Then data can be sent from one place to another place. So the committee had established this concept called the open system, in which we have standardized protocol, and if you use this standard protocol, you can interconnect between each other. Okay, so this is what we call the interconnection reference model. Okay, and in this model there are 7 layers. Each layer has its own function. Okay, and now this 7 layers is called the Open System Interconnect Reference Model, or called the 7-layer model. Okay, it's used as international standard. Okay, so in this OSI 7 layers, okay, we have the bottom layer, the physical layer is layer 1. Layer 2 is called the data link layer, followed by the network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. Each layer has its own purpose. Okay, the main purpose for physical layer is basically for the physical transmission of the data. Data link layer is for you to access the media, which is in this case a wire, or for wireless to access the air. Okay, how do we access this media? Okay, network layer is for routing of packets from one network to another network. Okay, transport layer is taking care of ensuring delivery from the source to the destination. Session layer is to make sure that the transmission is in control and in order. Presentation layer is to convert syntax, and application layer is basically where application is for you to communicate. Okay, it will provide you with an application interface for the user to be able to communicate to the application. So, okay, remember the example I give you on the poster. Okay, so this is a simple 3-layer. The layer on top make use of the layer of a service provided by the layer below. So same here. Application layer uses a service provider representation. Presentation uses a service provided by the session layer, and so on. And they provide different services. Okay. Okay, this layer, how do they provide the services? They provide the services by doing data encapsulation. Okay, data encapsulation. Okay, basically it means to add headers, okay, to the data. Data encapsulation is done at the source, okay, whoever sent the packet. Okay, and then at the destination, they will need to decapsulate the packet, meaning to remove the header. Okay, back to the simple example of sending the letters. Okay, the data encapsulation happen in this layer. Remember, you are the source. So how do you encapsulate the data? Okay, again, basically you write the letter. Okay, and in order for the layer below to be able to send your letter, you need to encapsulate the data into a form that can be understood by SyncPost. How do you encapsulate it? You encapsulate it through putting it into the envelope. So this is called encapsulation. You take the data and put it into the envelope, and in the envelope, in the encapsulation, you need to write the address. Okay, these are the rules defined by the layer below. So SyncPost here, okay, require you to write the address. It also require you to pay them, to put a stamp there. Then, okay, with this encapsulation, you pass to the SyncPost. SyncPost is able to read your data. Okay, so this is called encapsulation. Okay, so similarly, when SyncPost want to send your letter, okay, and pass it to the carrier probably will ask them to package all the letter into a big bag. Okay, into a big bag. Okay, and put the letter in the bags. Okay, all the related letter going to US in the bag. So this is also a form of encapsulation. Okay, putting the original data and then adding more information to the original data and pass it on. Okay, then decapsulation happens at the destination. Okay, remember your girlfriend, when he read your letter, right? Okay, he will open up the envelope and then read the letter. Your girlfriend probably don't need the envelope. Your girlfriend also don't need the stamp. Okay, what she need is to read the letter. So she do decapsulation. Okay. Okay, so this is what we meant by encapsulation and decapsulation. So in data communication, they also do encapsulation and decapsulation at the different layer, so that the data can be read, okay, meaningfully by the layer at the destination. Okay. Okay, so for example, this is the original information. So you wrote an email. Okay, then the email, okay, is read by the application. So after you write the email, right, you click send. Okay, but once you click send, right, the application, which is the software, the email software, take your data and put a header in front of your data. Okay, so you put a header there, and then he send the data, pass the data to the presentation. The presentation layer will also put a header, okay, in the as a presentation header, okay, and then pass it to the session. So all these are envelopes. So you are putting your letter inside multiple envelopes, okay, created by each layers. Okay, this contain information that's required at the other end, so that when they read the header, they know how to process the data. Okay, so all these are added. Okay, the data link layer, okay, is something special. You add a header, you also add a trailer. The purpose of this trailer is basically to do a checksum. Okay, add some checksum value to verify that the data that's sent across, there's no error sending across. So what do this checksum do is, when you send to the destination will then check the checksum against the data. Okay, and the checksum is correct, that means, okay, the data sent have been received correctly. There's no error in the data. Okay. So decapsulation. So again, when you reach the destination, right, okay, the destination will then receive the bits of the data, and then when you reach your computer, it will pass it to the data link layer, which will read the data link header and then decapsulate it, remove the header. At the network layer, they will then read the network header and then remove the header. So it's like opening up the envelope, okay, all the way to the application layer, and finally the data will be read by the email software at the receiving host. So for the email software, is only interested in reading the data. The header actually have no purpose at all at the receiving host, except by the different layers where they need to read this information to be able to process the data correctly. Okay, so that's for the OSI 7 layer. So the other model is called the TCP/IP model. Is similar to the 7 layer, except it's simpler. It's only 4 layers. Okay, this protocol is normally what we call the Internet Protocol Suite, because this is actually the protocol that runs the internet. Okay, so sometimes we also call it TCP/IP because the two most important protocol inside this suite is TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, and IP, Internet Protocol. Okay, who created this TCP/IP? Okay, it's actually created by the US Department of Defense. Okay, it's actually used during wartime. Okay, when they decided that they need to develop a protocol that's able to send data from one place to another place, so they developed the TCP/IP. Okay, and then they realized it's quite useful, and they release it for the public to use. And eventually, this protocol become the internet. Okay, helps to create the internet. Okay, so it's currently maintained by the IETF, and the document describing this TCP/IP are called the RSC request for comment. You can download this document in ietf.org. Okay, so for the TCP/IP protocol, it's simpler. You only have 4 layers: application, transport, internet, and network access layer. Okay, and the main function of the application layer basically to provide end-to-end application data transfer. Transport layer helps to handle the host-to-host communication. Internet layer is to connect hosts across the network. Network access layer is to handle communication on a single network. Okay, so these are the 4 different layers. Okay, TCP/IP also uses the same concept as OSI 7 layer, so you also have encapsulation and decapsulation. So similarly, encapsulation happens at the sending host, decapsulation happens at the receiving host. Okay, if you compare this OSI 7 layer with the TCP/IP model, basically they are very similar. Normally we will group the top 3 layers, layer 5, layer 6, layer 7, application, presentation, session. We can group them to become the application layer. Okay, in TCP/IP. So TCP/IP also have a transport layer similar to the OSI 7 layer. Network layer in the OSI layer is called the internet layer for TCP/IP. Okay, and the 2 layers, the data link layer and physical layer, we normally can group them and become the network access layer. Okay, so this is basically they can be roughly mapped with each other, the OSI 7 layer and the TCP/IP model. Okay, in the next video, okay, we will look more into the transport layer. Okay, the transport layer. Okay, how does the transport layer work? Okay, in the TCP/IP and the OSI 7 layer